What I want to do real quick, we have a special interview we're about to do. Our Mr. Celebrity Pastor Tom Schwaller. Shelly, do you want to come off mute for a second? So Shelly is one of our amazing breakthrough coaches. A lot of you have worked with her and you've been texting with her. And I wanted to let Shelly do the honors. I was going to interview Tom myself, but I know that she's probably going to be like even more emotional and like, it's meaningful for her because she's the one who originally first spoke with Tom. And I just want to say, Tom, from my heart to yours, this man's transformation, amazing. Tom, when you first came in, I mean, if there was a spirit animal, it would be Eeyore. And he was just beat down and hopeless. And it was just kind of like, it was like, I hope this works. That's all I can say is I just hope to God this works. And just see how much you have climbed out of that funk and that darkness and hopelessness to be such a shining example of what it means to be a good steward and just grateful and excited and oh my gosh, like an inspiration to people. I know that you fit the bill for that. So I just want to honor you first before I hand it over to Shelly. But Shelly, I'll let you take it over from here. And yeah, we're just excited to hear some of your breakthrough. And Tom, lately, just literally graduated like not like what a few weeks ago or something. So he's fresh out of this. So he wanted someone who is a little bit just gone through the program, a little bit fresher. So Tom, all right, Shelly, go take it away.
Thanks, Jeremy. This feels like a really big honor. This is really nice of you, Jeremy. Like, Tom, I hope you know, like, I have such a soft spot in my heart. I remember our first conversation like it was yesterday. And so, tell everybody a little bit when we first had that call, like, what was your life like right then before you started working with us?
Well, thanks for getting me teary already, Jeremy. But yeah, I'm a pastor, I'm a Lutheran pastor in Texas and Dallas area. And I literally was scrolling, I think Instagram or something, and I saw a little clip from Jeremy, and I just something hit me, and I was like, I got to do something. And we had gotten ourselves in pretty deep in debt, and it just I've had, you know, as a pastor, and I think this is pretty common for a lot of pastors, is we tend to pour ourselves into our parishioners, and we forget that we need God as well sometimes. We God is there. We know we preach it, but and we pour it out to others. But I wasn't pouring into myself. I wasn't allowing God to really see. Um, well, I would. I know God sees me, but I just didn't. I wasn't allowing myself to really feel the things that was going on, and so um, something hit me, and so I did a little inquiry. Shell called me. We had a wonderful conversation. I, of course, broke down crying because I was just in such a place where I was so downtrodden by all this money stuff. And it's been going on all my life. I didn't learn it how to take care of finances well. And it had just built up and built up and built up and built up. And I just kept ignoring it, ignoring it. I'd get out of debt, I'd go back into debt, I'd get out of debt, go back into debt, just this vicious cycle. And so I, you know, signed up, and I didn't have my first coaching call until the next week, but I did get on the Thursday night call. That was my first experience, and we started as Jeremy does. Let's go around, and talk about celebrations, and it gets to me, and I can barely talk because I'm so broken, you know. But a release, I can feel this sort of release coming, that finally I'm doing something, and you know, um, so yeah, so that was kind of the beginning, and it's been a powerful transformation.
And like, what was that experience like? Like you just mentioned about your first Thursday night call. I mean, whether it was the support or your one-on-ones or the Thursday night Q&A, like what about those things? Like, what was your experience like with those?
Yeah, I definitely support, not only from the coaches on the call, but everybody, and everybody saying, "Hey, it's all right, man. We're gonna do this together," and all this stuff, and um, so that it was just really powerful. It's just sensing something was happening, and I just felt God was really working on me, and through these people. So that was powerful.
And it is so obvious, I mean, I don't know if people in like your day-to-day life, Tom, like the physical transformation, even in the way that you talk and in the way that you look is so different. I mean, and in that same vein, like I know this is the part everybody wants to hear, like how are things different now that you've completed the course, how are things different?
I got a plan, and I'm so I'm thinking about the future, and I'm free from all this stuff that I'd been holding on to, doing the forgiveness, just going through the forgiveness exercise and forgiving myself for all the things that I'd done, not handling my money well, spending money when I didn't have it, not teaching my children as well as I should have. All these things, I was carrying all these things and kind of beating myself up, and there was a day when I just kind of sat there and just bawling, and just like everything just came out. And I actually had a good conversation with my wife about it too, and about how I was carrying all these things. And I think she kind of knew, but I don't think she knew how bad it was. And I think as a pastor, you feel like people have expectations of you, and so sometimes you don't want to show. I've always given to the church, but for me, that was always taught for me as a duty. But now I give because I want to be generous, and that's my whole point in doing this program. It's not to spend money on myself. It's to have money in the future so I can be generous towards my family, my friends, the church, and I feel like I'm in the right direction. So, um, yeah, I have a plan. I was able to write. I was able to put down a $4,500 deposit on my daughter's wedding, which is coming in a year, and not put it on a credit card, just pay cash. And I hadn't paid cash or anything like that amount in as long as I can remember. So just having money in the bank, put money away, I mean, there's just so many things that have happened. So I don't know how
Yeah,
much
I mean, as I
you want me to
recall,
go
I mean,
into, but
we loved all the breakthroughs like spiritually and mindset, but as I recall, they also came with a pretty good pay bump. And I think for your wife too, right? Like there were some practical
yeah,
things also.
yeah. So I was not real happy at the church where I was at, and they weren't. It just wasn't going in the direction that I really felt that God was calling me to take it. And but periodically, I'd been chaplaining at a ranch for adolescents who are in mental health and substance use disorder um, recovery. And so I'd go out there once a week, and it was just such a joy. Youth ministry has always been my thing, and so to be able to use those skills, but also to work with young people who are really broken, but are searching so badly. It was so rewarding, but it was only like a couple hours a week, and so um, there were kind of some indications that the organization was going to grow, and with that, that there might be a full-time position for me, but nothing was ever really said. But I was thinking that was going to come this summer, but uh, I think it was the second week of March, you know, um, the CEO shows up my door and hands me an offer letter, that was $18,000 more than I was making currently. And then the next month, my wife got a big bonus, and I'm right in the middle of this program trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to do all this, But as soon as I started releasing a lot of that stuff, and really asking God to just help me to just let go of all this junk, that I've been holding on to. Um, and it just, I don't know, it just freed me up to think more clearly, to be who I am, and be more positive, and not be stressed about money all the time, because every day I was stressed about it. So anyway, and now here I am, working full
Yeah,
time, and it's
oh,
just an amazing job.
I love it. And I got you guys, you didn't get to see this, but I got to watch. He went on a trip of a lifetime as well. I got to watch the pictures from social media, and I don't know if you want to
Yep.
even share about that, but Tom, I mean, just just being able to watch vicariously, it was so
Yeah.
it felt amazing for me to watch you just having the time of
Yeah.
your life.
I want to hear about the
Yeah.
trip. I never heard about the
Well,
trip.
We don't let
so
you in on everything, Jeremy, around here.
yeah.
You
So
missed some.
I have a friend who has a travel club, and it's an adventure travel club. And as my kind of a celebration, it was between finishing the program, leaving my past job, and starting this new one. It was right in between. So I had a week of vacation, and we went to Eastern Europe, Eastern Europe, and like Croatia, and kind of did the whole, like, the history of the former communist Yugoslavia, which is now, all these flourishing countries, and beautiful, and castles, and just, it was amazing. So had a blast, came back 3 days later, started my new job. So it was the timing was perfect. So
Well, so then
anyways.
what's your next big goal? Like where are you going to go from here? So many things have changed, but what's next?
Right. So really, I mean, initially in the next year, it's kind of planning for my daughter's wedding, but bigger goal is um, getting set up for retirement. Probably we're hoping to retire in about 10 years. So, um, and we've got this new job has a 401k Roth IRA option. So both my wife and I are on that. She also works here, so that's cool. She's the admissions director, and I'm the chaplain. Um, so I think that's just getting that set up. I've met with my investor. I've just kept putting that off, because I'm like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have any money. I can't do that. But now it's like, no, I can do that. So that's the big one. That's
That's
and
awesome. I
I think
mean,
yeah.
we're right there. We love you. We're believing with you for all of that. I want to ask you one last thing. Like, remember that first day, Tom, when we were on the phone, and I remember how on the fence you were, right? It was emotional. It was so hard to think about making that
Mm-hmm.
change. Like, you know, think about like other people in the room. If they're just not sure yet about, they might feel on the fence. They don't really know us yet, just like it was for you.
Okay. Yeah.
What advice would you have for somebody who's sitting on the fence, just wondering if this could work for them?
I mean, for me, I realized I was at my wit's end, and then if I didn't get help, I was going to crash emotionally, maybe even financially. And unfortunately, that's what it took for me, because I'm stubborn, and as a pastor, I have high expectations of myself, and those expectations is as far as my personal financial life, were disaster. So I had a lot of guilt about that, and I just really was like, okay, God, help me just make a decision here, and and I said, what have I got to lose? It was kind of like, I mean, I'm gonna, if I don't do something, it's gonna get even worse. So that's where I was. Everybody's in a different spot, but for me, it was. I mean, we're talking like $125,000 in debt, you guys. So not good. And that's not with a house. That's the cars and credit cards and student loans and all kinds of stuff. So, um, uh, and the first after that first Zoom, the Thursday night call, and then my first coaching call with the amazing Stacy, um, uh, was just it just was clear to me. It's this, and here's the thing, you guys. This isn't about money. It is, but it isn't. It's about your spirituality. It's about your um, how you see yourself, how you view money. You know, it's not about the dollar itself. It's about how you view it. And for me, writing down those goals is like I want to be a generous person who's super excited about being generous, not a person who's guilty about being generous. You know, so those were kind of some of the deal breakers for me. And yeah, so it's going good. We've had some wins. We've got some money in the bank. We've paid off some credit cards. We're and I'm pretty confident that in probably about 2 years we'll be debt free and also have a lot of cash in the bank and our retirement account built up pretty well. So um, it sounds ridiculous because that's a lot of money, but once you start looking at a budget and start looking at your bank account and go, oh, I see Rachel over there smiling because she's like a total numbers geek, and and I'm not, and so uh, she could have showed me a thing or two many years ago, but just those, we're not there yet. We're far from it, but emotionally, spiritually, I'm in such a better place, and that's what I celebrate the most.
Tom, you crushed it.
I gotta turn it back to you, Jeremy. Like you
Yeah.
know how much I hate to cry, you guys. He makes me want to ugly cry. So if I go off, you'll know why, because I am so tenderhearted. Tom, thank you so much for sharing with us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Oh
Well,
man.
I appreciate you guys, and we'll continue to watch and be in touch and be part of things whenever I can. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So yeah, thank you
Tom.
especially to the three of you, Shell, Stacy, and Jeremy, and your support. And it's just been wonderful.
Yeah, we love you, my friend. So
Yeah.
grateful for you.
We do. Big hugs, Tom. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.